When you go racing, you don't race to come second. When you're in the thick of it, you're just sort of surviving weekend to weekend. We did have a lot of problems with a brand new bike. But we knew we had a good starting point, but you still have to prove it. We did suddenly realise we were on Saturday in with a chance of winning the championship. It was highly charged emotionally. It was like being a father, an expectant father in the maternity wing.
Gets blocked. Here comes Mason Law, trying to get the drive. Law cuts underneath as they go for the line.
I mean, when we crossed the line, it was that delay of, well, have we done enough?
And I think Mason Law might have got it.
So we ran to the pit lane.
Mason Law got that by 26 hundredths of a second.
It was nothing, but it was enough.
Five months after the dramatic final round of last season, and the team is finally getting back together to announce its rider lineup for the upcoming year. Mason Law remains with the team to defend his British GP2 title, but is now joined by British Supersport frontrunner Jamie Perrin. CEO Rod McDonough is very clear in his target for the season.
We'd like to win the British Championship again. It's a big ask. It's a full season this year. Obviously, the bike's a bit maturer now. We've developed the bike a bit since last year. We've fixed a few of the problems we've had. So we're hoping the bike will run well. Clearly, we've got Mason riding again, so he's going to be very keen to show it wasn't a fluke last season. It definitely wasn't. And of course, Jamie Perrin will also be joining us, and he's going to be very keen. I think it's the first time he's ever had a full team behind him, where he can really show, I hope, what talent he has. So we want to win. We definitely want to win the championship again.
The team's success is much down to the bike's designer, Steve Bones. Bones has many years of experience in Grand Prix motorcycle racing, and the bike is very much his baby.
Yeah, essentially. I'm not only have I manufactured the chassis, the swing arm, I've done all the bodywork, the shapes, the way the bike works, all the engineering side of it. Basically, I'm responsible for pretty much all of it.
After having to hastily develop the bike last year, this season will be a case of building on what they already have.
We only really competed in half a season last year, and I feel towards the end of that season we were starting to find our feet and really understand what we'd got. So it's really about carrying that on into this year. So we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We know we've got a good base, but it's now chipping away at trying to make that better.
Beyond this year, Spirit hope to expand into international competition.
Well, for me, I would like to move into the European Championship. We're already in discussions with people about how we could put together a team based out in Spain to do a full CEV Moto2, or what they call now the European Moto2 Championship. That would be hopefully for next season, 2022. We may, if we can, organise it, send two bikes over to enter the last two rounds at this year's championship in Spain. Obviously, it's an objective. Whether we can do that or not, we don't know. But we think we might be able to wild card with a former British MotoGP rider, hopefully taking the helm. And if we do well in that, to continue then into 2022 with a team based down in Barcelona.
And just how important is this year for those plans?
Well, it's all credibility. I mean, if we did very poorly this year, when people think, well, what happened in 2020? Was that actually just accidental? Was it only because it was a half season? So we want to put those question marks out of everyone's mind. You know, we turn up in 21, we do a really good job, we're a professional team, the bike's good, the riders are excellent, there's a good morale and dynamic within the team. So it's not a fluke. This is because we work very hard and we've got very professional people, and that usually gets you results. So just to reinforce what we did before and show that it wasn't a fluke, and also build our credibility for Dorna and the other promoters in the other championship, because they'll be looking at our track record. So hopefully we'll impress enough to earn us a place on the European Moto2 grid.
With everything getting into place, news the very next day comes as a blow when it is announced that the start of the season has been delayed until the end of June. But this does not mean that Rod and Steve will be twiddling their thumbs. Six weeks on, and things have changed quite considerably. Spirit have acquired Talon Engineering, with Rod and Steve now running the Yeovil-based manufacturing company. Talon is world renowned for making motocross bikes, specialising in wheels and sprockets. But the long-term plan is now to diversify its product range to include road and race bikes. It has also been decided that Spirit will be based on the Talon site. The first pre-season test at Silverstone takes place tomorrow, and the bikes are being fired up ahead of their journey to the track. However, one of the bikes will not start up before departure. Steve therefore has to take the bike to his home workshop and do some diagnostics.
The 10 is the one always missing.
The problem is eventually solved, and the bike is loaded back away, ready for action the next day.
So the madness begins, boys.
Testing is not only important for the riders, but also for the team's crew members, most of whom are new to the team this year and need to familiarise themselves with the bike. The test does not get off to an ideal start, with overnight rain leaving the track sodden for the first session of the day. Mason heads out for a couple of sighting laps, but new signing Jamie Perrin has to wait to make his debut on the bike. Mason is soon back in, and the team plays the waiting game for the track to dry out, whilst doing everything to warm the tyres. A few hours later, Mason is able to head out on track on dry tyres, closely followed by his 2020 title rival, Jack Scott. Moments later, Jamie heads out for the first time on the Spirit SP2. Upon his return to the pits, Mason informs the team that his tyres being torn to shreds.
Silverstone kills tyres. It's a new cell. But what do you want to do? Honestly, because they go to an extra tyre. They don't spend a week.
He returns to the circuit for another run on new tyres, but there is no change.
If you look at the tyre at the end, I come onto the start-finish straight, and it honestly felt like I had traction control. I think it was where it was just spinning. I mean, I wanted to stay out, but I genuinely just could not have done a lap time.
Sometimes the simplest things can hold back progress at testing. A week later, and the team is back in action for a 2-day test at Snetterton. The sun is out, but temperatures are once again very low. Despite this, Jamie is able to get in some meaningful running and make significant progress on his new bike. However, Mason is not happy on the bike, and before he can work out a solution, the rain suddenly comes in.
The only thing where I really struggle with that's the back.
You feel like the back's coming round on you?
It's coming round on me, yeah. I only have that in slow stuff here and here. Well, I didn't have it in the first session. I wasn't sure if it was just the tyres.
The riders give feedback on their bikes in the hope of getting back on track the next day, but early morning rain scuppers any hopes of that, much to the frustration of everyone.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a disappointing test spirit here at Snetterton. We've just been hit by bad weather, frankly. We came here in good shape, to be fair. The bikes were ready, setups were ready, and we've just not been able to explore any of the avenues that we wanted to prior to coming here, so our plan has really not happened. But good thing was, first time on the bike, I say the first time, second time on the bike for Jamie, but first time in earnest because Silverstone didn't go very well for him and we had some technical issues. He's really comfortable on the bike, which we're really pleased about. So we feel that for Jamie, that was all very positive. For Mason, very frustrating, simply because the settings in his bike didn't work and we just haven't had time to explore new settings for him that I'm sure will work. So onwards and upwards and on to Oldham Park.
Next time on Spirit Motorcycles, all on the line. Testing continues at Oldham Park, Donington, and the season finally gets underway.